no, we need to fix this right here, right now. When do I break this news to you guys? People just gotta let that go. It's like such an art. It seriously is an art. Like, relationships ain't easy. Hi everyone, welcome back to your girl's channel. I'm finally doing another Q&A. I feel like these are always just the bread and butter of this channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe if you're interested. And also, if you would like to help out my channel, then please thumbs up this video. Okay, so let's just jump into this video. As I am just quickly scrolling through this, I swear every time I do a IG Q&A, the biggest question is always marriage and kids, which I feel like I don't want to bore you guys because I have answered this numerous times. Actually, to look back, I think this question of marriage and having children has always been the most frequently asked question since we started dating. The question is always, how do we feel about marriage, and if that's something that's on the radar, and how do I feel about having kids? So if you already know my answer to this and you've heard me talk about it a million times, you can just skip through this part. But for those of you who are just clicking into this video and you are genuinely curious and you want to know, my answer for that is marriage for us is no rush. I don't know if I will ever desire to get married. I understand a lot of people want to get married for different reasons, personal reasons, religious reasons, but for myself, and I feel like every time I talk about this, I need to give such a big disclaimer because people get upset with my view on it. So anyways, if you are getting upset with why I am not rushing for marriage, you need to leave me alone, okay? I feel like I have to give a disclaimer so much every time because I don't want to like step on anybody's toes. But for me, I just don't find marriage to be something that's very important. Granted, I understand that if, if knock on wood, Wall got sick and he was in the hospital, as his girlfriend, I don't really have rights to speak for him or anything like that. So that's kind of the one thing. And also like filing taxes, I hear. I wouldn't want, or I don't make that a priority as to why I want to marry a person or like be married. That's just secondary. That just kind of comes with it. Like if you're marrying someone just for the sake of tax benefits. And for me, ever since I was a kid, I've never dreamed of having a wedding. In fact, since I was a kid, I've always thought I was just gonna be a boss-ass bitch. I've never visioned myself getting married. I've never dreamed of my wedding. I've never created a wedding Pinterest board. I just think some people, depending on your upbringing, marriage may not be something that you care for, and I think I'm just one of those people. I say it's hard for me to talk about this because I feel like every time I say this, other women will say there's got to be other reasons, but really that's it. So that's how Wall and I kind of perceive marriage. It's not that we never ever want to. I guess it's just like a personal thing. And I guess this is also to speak to those men and women out there who feels the pressure of society telling you you need to get married just because you're dating someone for X amount of years. I feel like people just gotta let that go. Just because a couple has been together for X amount of years or been married for X amount of years and don't have kids or don't get married, it doesn't mean anything is wrong with their relationship. I feel like if your relationship is strong and it's solid and you're happy, that is all that matters. And with that being said, never say never. Like maybe sometime down the road, I will want to have kids, and then that's a discussion to have later on. But as of now, I think the way life is progressing and how Wall and I are progressing in our relationship, I am happy this way, and that's it. I truly hope this does not offend anyone. I don't know why it does, but every time I talk about this topic, there are people that gets offended by my view of why I don't want to be married right now. It's like the strangest thing. As far as the society goes, people are always pushing you to like get married and have kids and like start businesses and like do all these things. But everyone's life is different. Everyone's life is different and everyone wants to walk their life a different way. Okay, that's it. Let's move on to the next question. How is your jaw doing? Do you still get a lot of pain from it? Well, my jaw is doing the same. When do I break this news to you guys? Maybe I'll just tell you now. I am actually getting braces next month. I'm getting braces on my bottom jaw, and then I'm gonna get Invisalign on the top. I will go more into detail when that happens, but that is what's happening. I am in the process of fixing my jaw, and I am going to get jaw surgery a year from now, which is why I'm getting braces next month, because they have to prep my teeth for surgery. So yes, my jaw does still hurt. It's kind of hard to explain, but it feels achy and it feels uncomfortable. So yeah, I am still proceeding with jaw surgery, but that will be about a year from now. What is something you are struggling with? Whew, well, we get it deep. Right now, I am struggling with what's happening to the Asian community. I am struggling with feeling safe as an Asian woman in America. I am struggling with feeling hopeless for our community. And I think that this is a weight that my fellow Asian community feels as well. I mean, I've talked to so many people, my friends, my family, and I think we all kind of feel the weight of it. And I think a lot of Asians are feeling this struggle as well, not knowing how to navigate their brand or how to navigate life, or even simply going to the grocery store without feeling our life is in danger. And I talked to Jen recently, my good friend, bless her heart. She told me something that actually really helped me get out of this, you know, fearful rut that I'm feeling. And her advice was that in this moment you are safe, and in this moment things are okay, at least for myself, because I can't control all the things that are happening in the world. You know, I'm just one person, and I need to focus on the moment because that's the only moment that I have control over. I don't have control over the past. I don't have control over the future. So right now in this moment, this is the only moment that I can have control over. It helped ground me. It helped me think, let's just focus on the now and what I need to do as far as my own self. Sometimes that even comes off a little selfish, right? Like, oh, you're just gonna focus on yourself. But truthfully, the world is so big. There are so many problems. You can fix one and then there's another. And I hope this speaks to some of you who are feeling the same way, that we can rely on each other as far as supporting each other and our communities. You are one person and you're not gonna fix all the problems in the world. So at times when you need to take a break, and at times when you need to focus on your work and your family and your friends, there is some comfort knowing that there are other Asians, or not even just Asians, but other people who are supporting our cause and our fight. And in those moments when you feel like you're really just struggling, you have to remember, you know what, today I just need to take a break from that and I need to focus on my work, my family, my life. I am hopeful that things are gonna get better. In the meantime, I think, you know, we just gotta watch our backs, try to stay positive, look out for each other, defend each other and protect each other, and speak out when we feel like something isn't right. I just wanna say, as I'm scrolling through, there's so many people who are just asking, how are you? And that is just so sweet. So for those of you who asked me just generally how I'm doing, thank you. And I hope you are doing well. This is a popular question. Okay, how often do you and Wall fight, and has that changed over the years you've been together? We do not fight often. I don't mean to be one of those couples to say like, oh my God, we're so perfect, we just don't ever fight. We just truly don't fight that often. And I think it comes with being together for so long. And I mean, it can go the other way, right? Like some people can be together for so long and then that causes conflict as well. But I think Wall and I got majority of our fighting and disagreements out in the beginning of the relationship. Right now, I would say Wall and I are so in tune with each other that we hardly fight because we just know what ticks the other person off and we avoid it, and generally just respecting each other and respecting boundaries. And I think just because we know each other so well, it's like your best friend, you know? You don't really fight with your best friend, or do you? I don't know, like, I guess it's normal, right? Most of my friends have been in long-term relationships, like at least, you know, a few years and up. And most of them kind of are on the same boat too, where like, you know, you just don't really fight that much because a lot of the disagreements and all of that kind of came out in the beginning. So, you know, like I said, Wall and I are going on 10 years. And while we're still learning new things about each other all the time, and, you know, we obviously still will have our fights, I just don't call them fights because we don't ever get to a point where we're like raising our voice and being like, you know, mean to each other like we were when we were younger. There's just this level of respect and this level of communication that we've developed over the years. And I think that's key. Like if you are fighting with your partner a lot, you know, don't get so discouraged because, you know, fighting is also a form of communication, and sometimes it takes years before you can kind of master or figure out how to speak to the other person. You know, think about your own family. Like think about how you've spent your whole life with your family members and yet you guys will still fight. Focusing on how you guys communicate is key. Wah and I's communication is very different. We're very similar, but we're also very different in so many ways. So in the beginning of our relationship, when we would used to fight a lot, Wah's the type where he needs to cool off. But for me, it's like, no, we need to fix this right here, right now. Like, I cannot go to sleep until we fix this. So that I found was our biggest issue. It wasn't necessarily what we were fighting about, but how we handled the fight. So what we've learned and what we've kind of come to is like, you know, maybe we just need to give each other some space, right? Like when we're fighting, let's not go at it because we know it's gonna turn ugly. So that's my biggest tip. You know, you gotta communicate on how to communicate effectively. It's like such an art. It seriously is an art. Like relationships ain't easy. Sometimes with social media, it kind of looks that way. You know, people just seem so in love and like all over each other. But girl, let me tell you, behind closed doors, every relationship, they have their ups and downs, and every relationship is unique. So you just have to find the way that works for you. What is the biggest thing you've learned from being in a long-term relationship? Patience. Patience is key. Patience. That is my answer. Is dating interracial okay in terms of how Asian parents would react in keeping tradition? Girl, absolutely. Let me give you a little insight on my family and my life. Growing up, my family, you know, as you would probably expect from an Asian family, they wanted all of my sisters to date someone who is Chinese. The reason being is because my parents don't speak great English and they've always wanted to be able to communicate with our partner. And most importantly, I think my parents want to be able to communicate with my partner's family, because to my family, it's like once we get married, that's an extension of our family. And for my parents, they've always just wanted to have that where, you know, a family can come together and speak the same language and be able to communicate. My mom can speak English a little better than my dad, but both of them, you know, it's not their first language. So they've always wanted us to date someone who's Chinese just because of communication purposes. I'm the only sibling that is dating someone who's Chinese. My older sister is dating someone who's Hispanic, and then my younger sister is dating someone who's Hispanic and Japanese. So my parents obviously didn't get their wishes, but I will have to say, like, just looking at my sister's relationships, your family, even if they have to disagree in the beginning and they make a whole big deal about it, you can't, girl, you cannot let that change who you want to be with. You know, while I completely understand that, you know, in Asian culture, we really respect our elders and we want to make sure that like we don't have conflict with them. Sometimes in life, you have to accept that there's going to be conflict. And that's not just with your family. That's with friends. That's with your relationship, whoever you're dating. Like people at the store, like people at the grocery store, like you are going to have so much conflict with people in your lifetime. And while having conflict with your family is literally like the worst thing, ultimately you have to choose your happiness. And for my older sister, you know, she was the first to date interracial, or did I say that right? She was the first to date someone of a different race. So she was the first interracial relationship in my immediate family. And my parents did not take it very well in the beginning. And I mean, it was not pretty. Like, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. It was not pretty in the beginning for my sister and her fiance right now. You can also kind of provide scenarios for your family. Like I told my mom, I'm like, look, when you were dating dad, although my dad was Chinese, he was like not someone that my grandparents visualized my mom to marry. You know, my dad was more like that bad boy, you know. My grandparents actually didn't love that, and still my mom pursued my dad. So I'm like, you know, that's just a perfect example. Like you can't stop who you love, and it's so selfish as a parent to take that away from your children. So I think providing these types of scenarios for your own parents can be helpful too. Share that with them and help them see the other side of things. If you're just like speaking words, sometimes it doesn't work. You know, that's what I've learned. You have to provide examples. Absolutely, I am all for interracial relationships. Love is love. You know, it doesn't matter. You unfortunately are gonna have a rough ride. You know, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. You're probably gonna have a rough ride with your parents. Ultimately, they love you and they want to see you happy. So if you can show them that, yes, being in this relationship has really enriched my life and made me happy, I think your parents will eventually come around. I'm seeing so many questions of people just asking me for advice on buying a home. Maybe a lot of you guys are buying houses right now. So comment below if you're in the process of buying a house. I feel like I'm not qualified enough to talk about this, but I guess things that I've learned from the first time I bought a house would have to be, you gotta love the house. There are so many people, or like if you go online, you can see all these videos where people talk about like location, 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 and like location is key to buying a home. I do believe that, but sometimes with location, 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 you most likely will have to pay a premium if you wanna live in a great location. And oftentimes as a first-time home buyer, that's not realistic. So first and foremost, I think you have to buy a place that you genuinely love. And then the second is obviously the financials, right? Don't buy a house if you are just feeling the pressure of buying a house. I feel like so many people are feeling pressure to buy a house right now, as if like if you don't buy a house right now, you're gonna lose out on something crazy. There are so many other ways to invest your money, and real estate is not the only option, is the way I see it. So only buy a house if you feel like you need a primary residence that you want to own and you don't want to rent, and also if you have like the financials lined up. There's so many videos that you can find online, but I think when it comes to buying a house, you just have to feel financially ready. First and foremost, you need to figure out your financials, whether or not you can afford this house. How much down payment can you put? Your home is probably one of the biggest purchases you'll ever make in your life. So do your research and only do it if you're ready. When was the last time you tried something new and really put a lot of effort into it and enjoyed it? This is such a great question. When was, girl, okay, so I don't know. I was recently kind of reevaluating my life and thinking about how I don't really have any hobbies. And I tried roller skating recently. I bought a pair of roller skates, so that's something new, but I haven't really like, committed to it just yet. It will eventually happen. I know what's gonna happen, but I just have the skates like sitting in my house and I haven't gotten around to really skating much. But I told myself, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So that's one thing I'm trying. But as far as something that I tried and like really enjoyed and stuck with it, I will have to say would be photography. I clearly am not a photographer, and clearly I don't take like amazing photos, but I really enjoy taking photos. I found that that's something that I truly enjoy and I have so much fun with. So yeah, I would say photography. Favorite Korean restaurant in K-Town? Oh girl, my favorite restaurant ever in K-Town is Yangji Gamjatang. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Sophie and Jen introduced me to that spot, and it's like a comfort, it's like a Korean comfort food place where they have just like soups and stews, and let me just tell you, it is so good. Like I crave it all the time. The owners and the staff there, they're all so nice. It's my favorite place. It is my favorite place in K-Town. Yangji Gamjatang. You have to try it. Why do I keep talking like this? Like, what is this hand motion? Will you ever go blonde again? Maybe not, because my hair, there are some people that can dye their hair blonde and then black, blonde and then black, and like have no problems. But me, my hair just breaks off like crazy. And I told myself I would never go blonde again because I cannot risk my hair getting that damaged ever again. I love this question. What's something you miss about old YouTube and IG? Oh, girl. One thing that I really miss about YouTube, like the OG YouTube, is the sense of community and how people genuinely reached out to each other to hang out and like do collabs and shout each other out. Like, I feel like that's how YouTubers grew so quickly back in the days, because we all supported each other and we were all like trying to put each other on. And like, I remember just doing collabs and just, it was just so genuine. I feel like nowadays it's just people, obviously, and I understand too, because sometimes I do feel that way about other people. It's like, are you genuinely trying to be my friend, or like, do you want something from me? So I get that. So yeah, I would say like I just really miss the old YouTube where everyone was just starting out and like everyone was just down to support each other. That's what I really miss. I miss just that genuine support from each other and just like the non-clickbaity stuff, As for Instagram, I feel like Instagram, I've actually really enjoyed the progression of Instagram. I think like Instagram is kind of reverting, right? Like it started off with, people just posting like their normal content, whatever's happening in their life. And then it became like a super curated platform where people would post like very quality, good content, which honestly I love. I find so much inspiration from Instagram. And then now I feel like it's kind of a mix. Like people are very creative, but people are also kind of incorporating that personal touch. So as far as Instagram goes, I like where it's going, and I still find like inspiration, but also like I still feel like there's connecting with people. That's it to this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry the trash truck is here and now it's like so loud. But yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.